covering your hometown. From 5 newsrooms across the region, this is WDBJ 7.
Now on WDBJ 7, the countdown to Monday morning's launch of the Artemis 1 mission, the potential outcomes NASA is preparing for. Plus, over 180 people got their hands dirty, how the Radford community came together for the new river.
And it was a hot one out there for us today, but we are tracking some changes as cooler air will make a return.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brittany Morgan. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, one person is in police custody after a foot chase last night in Roanoke. According to police, it happened just before 11 p.m. in the 4100 block of Williamson Road. Details are limited at this time, but the suspect was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Stay with us on air and online as we gather more information. The 4-year-old girl who was injured during a shooting on Campbell Avenue earlier this week has been released from Lynchburg's General Hospital. Thankfully, she's expected to make a full recovery. Lynchburg police continue to search for additional witnesses in the case. A review of store video from Liberty gas station confirmed another customer was in the store just prior to the shooting. They are asking for assistance in identifying him as a potential witness. There's new fallout from the release of the redacted affidavit used to justify the FBI's search of former President Trump's Florida residence earlier this month. The 38-page document offers some details about classified records stored at the former president's Mar-a-Lago estate, but with so many parts blacked out, it raises new legal and national security questions. Michael George reports from New York.
Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines says her office will lead an assessment of the potential risks to national security posed by former President Donald Trump keeping classified documents at his Florida residence. In a letter obtained by CBS News, Haines writes that her office is working with the Department of Justice to facilitate a classification review of relevant materials, including those recovered during the FBI's search earlier this month. A redacted version of the affidavit used to obtain the search warrant revealed that of the 15 boxes of government records Mr. Trump had at Mar-a-Lago and returned to the National Archives in January, 14 had classified documents, some including sensitive information critical to U.S. intelligence gathering.
That is the linchpin of the entire affidavit. We are talking about materials that could kill people, as well as, of course, reveal sources and methods really undermine our national security.
Investigators found 184 documents with classification markings, including 67 documents marked as confidential, 92 marked as secret, and 25 top secret. The FBI agent who wrote the affidavit also said there was probable cause to believe that evidence of obstruction will be found at Trump's property, as well as contraband, fruits of crime, and other items illegally possessed. The former president and his Republican allies remain frustrated with the search. In a court document filed late Friday, attorneys for Mr. Trump wrote the redacted affidavit provides almost no information about why the search took place. The president is asking for the appointment of a special master to go over the seized records. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Summer making sure to let us know that it's not going anywhere anytime soon, Catherine.
That's right. We're looking still at some toasty conditions for the next couple of days. Now, today it was a hot one out there, but most of us actually got to bask in the sunshine. We're looking at pretty much overnight conditions to be mostly dry too, but we still have this stray shower right here, and it's been hovering right outside of Rockbridge County for the past couple of hours. So that's the thing with these isolated downpours that occur. If we would have the same thing for tomorrow, too, they could hover over the same spot for a few hours. So that's why we still have that opportunity for isolated flooding, even though most of us are going to stay dry. It's just the nature of this type of system where they just kind of stay put there. And if heavy rain's occurring at some times, that could help raise that flood concern. So that's something we'll look at for tomorrow. But again, it's about the same thing as today. Lower rain chances for us. Most of us will stay fairly dry. Just a couple of straight showers will try to build in the afternoon, the evening. Something else that's the same too are those high temperatures. Most of us today, 80s and the 90s, and we're expecting that once again to close out our weekend.
All right, thanks, Catherine. A new phase of Russia's invasion of Ukraine is taking hold as the war stretches beyond the half-year mark, as artillery hits uncomfortably close to nuclear reactors. Deborah Patter reports from Ukraine's capital.
6 months of Russian occupation has turned Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant into a deadly front line. Reports of renewed shelling today comes just 2 days after it was disconnected from the grid for the first time ever.
For more than 24 hours this past week, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was operating on backup diesel generators.
Frankly, that is one step before the catastrophe.
Energy Minister Herman Galushenko told CBS News that if the backup generators fail, it would set in motion a chain reaction. A constant electricity supply is critical for cooling down spent nuclear fuel and avoiding a disastrous meltdown.
So we have probably 1 hour and a half, 2 hours before the reaction started inside the unit.
So we narrowly escaped nuclear disaster.
I must say that we were not far.
The nuclear plant was captured by Russia in March, but is still operated by Ukrainian technicians. And recent video from inside the plant shows Russian military vehicles parked near reactors, raising the risk of accidental fires. It's been half a year since Russia did the unthinkable and invaded Ukraine. Presidential advisor Serhiy Leshchenko said while they are grateful for all the military aid they've received, billions more is needed in heavy weapons in order to win this war.
This is artillery war, and that is why in artillery war we need more ammunition. Our permanent request to US government and international partners, please provide more military support for Ukraine.
6 months on, and this war is far from over, with no clear end game in sight.
An Egyptian artifact was discovered in a shipment to the U.S. from Europe this month. The find was made by U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers on August 17th at the port in Memphis, Tennessee. Egyptian art experts at the University of Memphis say the artifact is the lid of a jar used to hold the internal organs of mummies and could be over 3,000 years old. The item falls under protection of 1983's Convention on Cultural Property Implementation Act and has been turned over to Homeland Security. The Artemis 1 mission is on track for liftoff to travel around the moon in a new era of spaceflight on Monday, 5 decades after NASA's last trip to the lunar surface. Isabel Rosales has a preview of the precautions behind the launch.
We do feel good about our attempt on Monday.
The countdown has officially started for the launch of the Artemis 1 mission to its historic lunar journey from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The mission will test a new Space Launch System rocket, Orion spacecraft, and other components designed to make deep space travel safer for humans. 50 years after the last Apollo mission, the Artemis 1 mission is the first step in NASA's plan to return humans to the moon.
We're going back to the moon in preparation to go to Mars. That's the difference. 50 years ago, we went to the moon for a day, a few hours, 3 days max. Now we're going back to the moon to stay, to live, to learn, to build.
As the launch teams arrived at their stations at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida this morning, all eyes on any potential mishaps.
Our potential outcomes on Monday are that we could go within the window or we could scrub for any number of reasons. We could have weather, we could have technical issues, or we could have a range and public safety hold, and or a combination of any of those.
If it all goes according to plan, the spacecraft will orbit around the moon, traveling a total of 1.3 million miles over just 42 days before splashing down off the coast of California in October. For now, Artemis 1 is one step closer to the moon. Its first launch window is Monday between 8:33 and 10:33 a.m. Eastern. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
There was a fun-filled event for hot dogs to cool off from the hot weather today. Lancerlot Sports Complex hosted the town event in Dog Days of Summer. The free event had an ice rink, a dog park, and an outdoor swimming pool for our four-legged friends. More than 20 animal vendors were on site informing people about their services.
You get to meet new people, meet new dogs, and it's great because all the vendors that are out here, we actually get to know where they are, get to purchase new stuff from them, so you're learning everything about everybody that's here.
Cooling off never looked so doggone cute. People across our hometowns are gathering to clean up the New River. WDBJ 7's Patsy Montesinos spent the morning with them and shows us how they're helping the community.
Did you guys find anything good?
Yeah. More than 180 Radford community members got their hands dirty for the annual New River cleanup. The Hackworth family came to pick up trash from the river all the way from Shawsville.
I think it's really important for me to bring my kids here today because it's important for us to give back to the community, especially when we benefit from such a beautiful park. It's important for them to see how it is important to take care of stuff so they don't litter, and if they do see it, they need to pick it up.
Renew the New committee comes together every year to give the river a makeover. Bradford, Giles, Montgomery, Floyd, and Pulaski County all come together for the New River cleanup event.
So it's a regional approach here in Southwest Virginia, and every single locality comes out on this particular day, the last Saturday in August, and it's about cleaning up our river and cleaning up our community.
Over 32 tons of trash and 1,000 tires have been collected from the New River.
I found some Tupperware.
Bradford University students volunteered to collect trash. Junior Gifty Kofi says this is a great way to kick off their semester.
As students, it helps us interact with our community, and it helps us be active and stay active. We learn more about each other. We branch out to each other.
Hackworth says every day can be River Cleanup Day if everyone does their part.
Even if it's not a river cleanup day, everyone should be contributing, kind of cleaning up in their own backyard when they can to just make it beautiful for everyone.
In Bradford, Patsy Montesinos, WDBJ 7.
Coming up next, new numbers from the CDC say 3 out of every 4 kids in Virginia have already had COVID. How this happened without parents even knowing their child was infected. And later, we have a look at some of the week's amazing and weird trending news. Welcome back. The CDC is now saying that more children in Virginia have been sick with COVID than we thought before. Anahita Jafari shows us what we know about COVID infection and antibody levels in children.
New numbers from the CDC say that 3 out of every 4 kids in Virginia has already had COVID, even if their parents never knew it.
The specific number is 76% of children between 6 months old and 7 years old show COVID antibodies in their system.
The study confirms that, at a population level, many children have been exposed to COVID-19 and they've had some degree of an infection, and that could be either asymptomatic or symptomatic.
The survey does not show the total amount of antibodies in the blood. That's important for any exposures moving forward, say in classrooms.
It does not necessarily show if people have enough antibodies to protect them against a reinfection. If an individual was to have a reinfection, having a previous infection does not necessarily guarantee that they won't have severe outcomes.
Virginia continues to see fluctuations in COVID levels across all age groups, with more than half of the places in the state listed as medium or high exposure areas.
The cases in Virginia right now are declining at a very slow pace, but we kind of started at this elevated level. So basically that means that there are still a lot of people who are catching COVID-19.
BA.5 remains the dominant variant of the virus that is spreading the most right now. In Charlottesville, Anahita Jafari.
Now, I know most of us today in a lot of our hometowns stayed dry, but what about the days coming up, Catherine?
That's honestly looking to be the same trend. Closing out the weekend, starting off the work week, fairly dry. By Tuesday, though, a little bit more moisture will build back in. We'll talk more about that and also some changes in the temperature department. That's coming up. We've been fairly quiet in the tropics for us this hurricane season, but we are starting to head into that peak time frame where we start to see some more of that storm development. And right now, National Hurricane Center has not 1, not 2, and not 3, but 4 areas highlighted where we could actually have the potential for some tropical storm development. Now, this one right here, this orange shade, that one has a moderate chance within the next 5 days. So we could be talking about maybe a tropical depression by the middle of the next work week. So that one has the highest chance to be our first named system if it does develop, if it does continue to strengthen. It looks like all of these, though, that are highlighted have the opportunity to continue to gradually strengthen over the next upcoming days. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. For us here at home tonight, looking fairly calm out there. We will see some patchy fog develop, mostly clear skies for most of the area. Temperatures for us will be scattered around in the 60s, so our mountainous locations, places in the New River Valley, will drop down to the low to mid 60s. Most of us will be in the middle and the upper 60s. Tomorrow, going to be another warm day out there. Those high temperatures will be anywhere into the 80s with a few spots, especially areas towards the east and into the south side, making their way into the lower 90s. So we're going to stay hot and humid, closing out the weekend, starting off our work week. Something else that we're looking at too, pretty much mostly dry conditions for the next couple of days. So the forecast looks to be pretty much the same for Sunday and into Monday. But we do have that opportunity if we have some isolated storms form. Keywords isolated, not looking at a widespread chance. But if we do have that isolated rain and storm form, we could run into the opportunity for some high water issues or some flooding. These storms look to be slow moving for the next upcoming days, and they're going to be dumping some rain with them as we have a lot of moisture still in the atmosphere. Something else that we're tracking too, warmer than normal conditions still. Again, tomorrow, 80s and 90s, about the same as today. Monday, looking at that same opportunity. Tuesday looks to be the warmest day for us on the extended forecast. Also looks to be the wettest day too, as we'll have this cold front come through the area. So here's our frontal system right here. This is what's going to help bring some changes as we head into the middle of the next work week. We'll see some rain from it on Tuesday, but we should have drier and actually refreshing air built in back behind it. So we'll notice a drop in both the heat and the humidity, as well as that rain and storm chance. So as we head Wednesday and beyond, looking at mostly sunny and pretty much dry conditions for us too. Notice how those high temperatures gradually drop down. Wednesday, most of us still a touch warmer than normal, into the upper 80s, a couple low 90s possible, but most of us will hang on to the 80s. Then as we head into Friday, closing out the work week, we'll see upper 70s and the low 80s, and this is just in time for that Labor Day weekend. I'm going to be honest, right now models are kind of back and forth, the long range ones for Sunday and Monday. Some of them showing cooler than normal, some of them warmer. So we'll have to see in the next upcoming days how it'll all lay out for that Labor Day holiday.
August reminding us what it's all about with these upper 80s and 90s.
I know, yeah. So it's still feeling like summertime, closing out the month of August. It's when we get into September where we could see some of those changes.
Are you itching for the sweater weather?
I like the fall season, but I love summer. And the only bad thing about fall is we're getting closer to winter.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
She's already bought pumpkin spice latte or whatever.
Oh, I'm so excited for the pumpkin.
The creamer?
Yeah, I already got my pumpkin coffee.
She's already bought it, guys.
I mean, it's limited edition. It tastes so good, so
yeah,
why not?
Honestly, I'm not that far behind you. All right. Thanks, Catherine. Well, a super yacht sank. A long-gone dinosaur made its mark, and a secret masterpiece was revealed. Jeremy Roth has taken a look at this week.
Take a look at the week we had. A spectacular super yacht that suddenly sank into the sea 9 miles off Italy's coast left officials wondering how it all went down. After the distress call came in, reports say rough weather conditions made a tugboat salvage impossible. The Italian Coast Guard rescued 9 people off the 130-foot vessel before it disappeared into the depths. A UK Art Institute's X-ray examination of a 1921 painting revealed a secret hidden inside. It had been painted over a thought-to-be-lost masterwork called Atlantic City by Helen Saunders, one of the 20th century's most radical female artists. The masquerading masterpiece discovery is being called remarkable. Severe drought conditions in Texas uncovered a hidden secret. Dinosaur tracks reported to be 113 million years old. The prints revealed themselves in the bed of a dried-out river in Dinosaur Valley State Park. The tracks will eventually be resubmerged, which experts say will be good for the preservation of the prints. My frozen popsicle has a first name. It's W-E-I-R-D. Oscar Mayer debuted a bizarre frozen hot dog flavored popsicle this week, asking fans to vote on whether the viral vittle is stupid or genius. What do you think? Finally, if this video of a bouncing baby elephant happily enjoying a bunch of bubbles doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what to tell you. The adorable video posted by the Fort Worth Zoo racked up thousands of views, proving cutesy-poo animal videos like these are anything but irrelevant. For Take a Look at This Week, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, here we go. The rain washes out the race at Daytona while the Commanders give the keys to Sam Howell. We got your highlights from Baltimore next in sports.
Now, from the SI Sportsbook Sports Desk, here's WDBJ 7's Anthony Romano.
All right, we thought by now we might have known the last two drivers to qualify for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, but unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans. A soggy evening at Daytona put the Coke Zero Sugar 400 on hold, and it didn't take long for NASCAR to officially postpone the regular season finale. Instead of a night race, they'll run it bright and early on Sunday at 10 a.m. on CNBC and Peacock. Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. are the two guys currently holding the final playoff spots based on points, but Truex knows that can all be thrown out the window at a track as unpredictable as Daytona.
And I think we need to go race and try to stay at the front, try to get stage points. Like I said, the best case scenario for us would be to get in on points or win because, the owner's points side of things. We'll just see. Like I said, I think we had a really strong car here in February, led a ton of laps, won 2 stages, got kind of banged up and then finished, kind of tore up. So didn't have the speed at the end of the race, but had a really strong day going and, Talladega went good as well. So I feel like our cars are really fast here and hopefully we can take advantage of that and put ourselves in position to be a fun way to win one here.
The NFL preseason is wrapping up this weekend as we're now within 2 weeks of the season opener on September 8th. Washington wrapped up its exhibition slate in Baltimore tonight to take on the Ravens. Ron Rivera gave Sam Howell the keys tonight. The UNC rookie played the whole game at quarterback first quarter. He links up with his old Tar Heel teammate De'Ami Brown for a 26-yard gain. It was 17-6 Ravens into the third, but Howell kept the offense moving. How did he not go down there? He stays on his feet and scrambles all the way to the marker. Impressive athleticism from the rookie. Later on, he gets his touchdown, 13 yards to Reggie Bonifant. 2-point conversion failed, so the Ravens take this one 17-15 the final. Howell completed 24 of 35 passes for 280 yards and a score. The Panthers won their preseason finale over the Bills Friday night, 21-0, but the major story coming out of the game was backup quarterback Sam Darnold getting carted off after an injury. Carolina says Darnold will miss an extended period of time due to a high ankle sprain that he suffered on this play. The team also might be looking for a new kicker, with Zane Gonzalez going down with a significant groin injury. After losing rookie QB Matt Corral to another season-ending injury last week, Matt Rule is now left with just P.J. Walker behind starter Baker Mayfield.
Obviously, we have 2 quarterbacks. Normally we would go into the season with 2. Sam, I think he will be back. It's just a matter of how many weeks it is. So, like every position, we'll look at every option. Scott does a great job of that. But, we spent a lot of time training these guys in this particular offense, and, we'll continue to just build off what we've done. And, we have a lot of decisions, I left Scott's office on the way down here, and I'll probably go right back there. We're working through every position and all the things that are, important this time of the year.
And believe it or not, we got some ACC football tonight as Florida State opened up the conference season in week 0 against Duquesne. Knowles ran all over them, rushing for 406 and 6 TDs. Also tonight, UNC hosting Florida A&M. The Rattlers were without 25 players due to eligibility issues and originally opted not to play, but they changed their minds and honestly were hanging in there for a while. Tar Heels have since taken command 49-24 as that one wraps up. And that's your look at sports. We're back right after this.
Catching a foul ball at a baseball game is the dream of many kids and dads and me, right? In Friday night's Padres-Royals game, a dad in the stands trying to catch a foul ball misses the catch with his glove, falls backwards, crushes his young son in the seats, then climbs over and almost kicks his wife before getting the ball to give to his son. Now,
they look okay.
They look. You see a lot of these. They're very dramatic. You know, you lose nachos, you lose beers. Anthony, you're the sports guy. What do you have to say about this?
I don't know. You can't be climbing over your son like that. I mean, there must have been like 3 other kids probably running to get that ball. I don't know.
My dad,
I'm not a big foul ball guy. So
my dad and I always had the agreement where if we were at the game and he caught it, he'd give it to me for the cameras and go, "This is mine. You're giving this back later because this is what you're supposed to do. Give it to a kid." I agree.
In my opinion, I guess you're right.
He's not watching. It's fine.
Watch him actually be watching this time.
He's not.
Well, let's talk about the forecast just real quickly. Our precipitation chances for us for both Sunday and Monday are on to the lower end of things, but we will have that isolated chance still. That's why we have a 20% right there, about the same as today. That's going to be in store for us for the next 2 days. We have a cold front, though. That's going to come through for us on Tuesday, and that's going to bring us back a chance for some more spotty showers. A couple rumbles of thunder are possible as well. Tuesday looks to be the wettest and the warmest day this work week. Actually, high temperatures next several days, 80s, low 90s. We'll start to see some cooler air try to build in for us, though, as we head into Friday and possibly even for our Labor Day weekend.
Tell me no lightning next Friday night, please.
It should be dry actually Friday.
Okay,
so
good.
looking good for football.
Very good. Have a good night, everyone.